What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 116. We
Let's
can drive.
go.
uh,
Actually, at 116, we probably shouldn't be driving anymore.
that is true. I was looking more at the 16 part of it, but yes.
Yeah.
We are bringing you that Monday energy live. If you're watching live, join us over in the live chat. And if you're watching later, awesome comment down below. Hello, I'm Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen. What is on your shirt? I gotta know.
Yes, this is a band that called Conbro Chill, and they had a very epic t-shirt that I'm like, yes.
That is an excellent shirt.
They're the Neon Army, so it's all this neon as part of their look, and it's very positive and very dancey vibes. So go look up Conbro Chill so it's Conbro Chill, and they're super fun. You'll really enjoy their music videos. They're on YouTube.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
I was like, yes. I was like, this is a fun shirt.
It's like, wait, no, show me.
You're like, yes, tell me more. And I'm looking over in the live chat. So we are going to be talking some quick news. We're going to do Delicious in Dungeon, and Demon Slayer is back.
In that order.
Yes, in that order. And we are also going to cover other recommendations for you. So stick around for all that. Real quick, looking over the chat. This might change because I like doing a 2 thumbnail, but I do like the comment. Hack says the thumbnail waiting screen is an interesting choice because Untitled goes, we're being stared at quite intently. Yes. And then we got Giga Derek. Yes, thank you for joining in. Giga Derek goes, forgot it was Monday. Monday. Howdy. Yes, howdy. All right. And
the biggest of Monday energy today.
Woo,
I started off my day. I started off my day by accidentally leaving a meeting instead of unmuting myself to talk. So, that's the energy we're bringing in tonight.
Were you able to come back in and be like, my bad?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. It was just like, so yeah. And everyone thought it was funny. Like, yay.
Oh, good.
Yay.
All right. Yes, where is he? I'm looking. Oh, there we go.
Here somewhere.
Excited about.
Excellent.
So coming up real soon, we have talked about this, and just reminder, because today's kind of like the reminder day of, hey, things coming out.
It truly is the reminder day. I mean, the starting reminder is that Crunchyroll sent us a nice little reminder over the weekend going, so remember that Demon Slayer is dropping on Sunday. And then evidently it premiered in the morning, and then the next few episodes will be an hour earlier than the premiere. So if you like watching them live, tune in earlier than normal, or earlier than this week at least. But yes, Crunchyroll has reminded us that Demon Slayer is starting. We're all very excited. And again, we're talking about it later.
Yes. Another one we are excited about, because this one had like a 10-year hiatus. Haikyuu, The Dumpster Battle, the film, is going to be coming to movie theaters on May 31st. So tickets are on sale now. Be sure to go get your tickets. As we've talked about, anime in theaters is super exciting and fun. If you're able to, go and stay on the lookout for more information. Follow Crunchyroll, and also check your local theater of what times are available. Again, Haikyuu, The Dumpster Battle, is coming to theaters on May 31st.
Yes.
Very excited for that one.
Oh, yes. Other things we are very much excited about. We're always happy when Tokyo Pop sends us releases of what they're doing. Like, it's always fun to see the manga world. And this I particularly love. Tokyo Pop releases Spanish language edition of Stitch Best Friends Forever. Publisher Tokyo Pop expands its popular Disney manga catalog with the release of a first-ever Spanish language edition for Stitch Best Friends Forever, aka Stitch Amigos por Siempre, an original story featuring the beloved main character from Disney's Lilo and Stitch. So that is dropping September 3rd. So if you are bilingual, if you want to learn Spanish, if there is someone in your life whom you think would enjoy this, September 3rd, Tokyo Pop. Put that on your wish list, keep an eye out for that one. And I love this.
That sounds so cute.
I love this so much. For one, that this exists at all. Yep.
Yes.
Because I believe that this is a story that's already out, but the fact that they're coming back and they're doing a Spanish language edition, I love this. I love this so much.
That would be He's so cute. Which also, speaking of that, the other thing too, forgot to mention, check out NTATNB over on Twitter. We'll post links to different things we've talked about or have photos and the like. So in case you're like, wait, what are you talking about? You can go here and we will be sharing more on that. And yes. Oh, I like Hex says that is so random, but very cool. I agree. That is one of those like, oh, I love it. Yeah, same.
And I mean,
that sounds adorable.
Stitch is one of the Disney characters that got extremely huge in Japan. So there's all sorts of, there's manga, there's side stories, there's like, that is a character with a lot of star and staying power, especially overseas. So the fact that, for one, we got these stories in Japanese, we got them in English, and now we're getting them in Spanish. The fact that they are extending that to an audience who may not have otherwise had access to them. Like, again, I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we just kind of had the other reminder that a lot of shows that we've talked about or upcoming, go check back on your queues, go check back on Crunchyroll. Those are, a lot of them are now available because now we're into May, which is insane that we're almost halfway through the month too. I'm like, wow.
The last reminder is, again, another one from Crunchyroll, and a reminder that Anime, ANIMAY, is still very much ongoing, in full swing. That if you are in the States, they have that partnership with Hot Topic. If you are in Canada, Mexico, or abroad, generally in the EU, they have all of those different partnerships with all those different stores that... I think they had a list of like 20 or 24 anime. They had a list of a lot of anime, including some currently airing ones and some classic ones. I remember Kaiju number 8 being on the list and Yu Yu Hakusho being on the list that are free with ads to watch if you don't have a Crunchyroll account. So that is accessible to you, and it's a pretty extensive catalog. So yeah, Crunchyroll's really pulling it out for anime. If you want the full details, for one, go to Crunchyroll's socials. And for another, last week's episode, I covered much of that press release in depth. I'm not going to go bring it back up again because it was a very long press release with a lot of details. So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. So yeah, definitely check out Crunchyroll socials. Keep an eye on that. And then remember that, yes, you can have all sorts of fun anime stuff. Crunchyroll is enabling you this month.
And a good way to get your friends to sample it too, if they're like, wait, what is this about? And a good way to get samples, which also Kaiju number 8, been watching that. So funny and very entertaining as a show. Let me know down below if you're currently watching the show, what you think of it. It's still extremely entertaining and exciting action. And yeah, just such an interesting mix of comedy in there too, which also 30 is not that old. They keep saying in there, they're like, oh, he's so old at 30. I was like, ooh, they rude.
I think because part of it is, and this is me spitballing having not watched it, it's a cleanup job, right? It's very intensive. It's very...
There's that, and then it's once they get into the training to be fighters. Yes, I do understand that these are probably like late teenagers, early 20s, that yes, there is a difference, but it's just one of those, I'm like, that is
But I'm also kind of looking at like sports professionals where they are recruited out of college or recruited younger, because your reflexes tend to be highest in your 20s and your early 30s. Like, I'm looking at esports and going, 30 is considered old in esports because your reflexes are faster when you're younger than that. So that's also kind of what I'm thinking is, okay, what's the context? Yeah, 30 isn't old, but also for something that's going to have a lot of wear and tear on your body, it might not be optimal for what you're going into.
Yes, it's just they are rude to him.
Oh, well, forget that.
His face. And I was like,
that's rude.
It's, okay, whoa there.
That's rude as hell.
But it is semi-entertaining for our benefit because then he reacts and blah, blah. But
yeah,
I would say that's also the side tangent corner of that, of our social media understanding of people assuming a certain age means old. And then those people going, what?
Oh,
we just have such an odd perception of it all.
The whole, you're 30, shouldn't you be at work? And I'm like, I'm turning 36 on Friday. Yes, I have a day job. And I also have things like hobbies and creative pursuits and things I like to do. So you don't die socially after you leave your 20s. Like, come on, guys. Actually, that's when you start getting the spending money to do the things you want to do.
The heck goes. I don't know. I feel pretty old. Well, I would go with age as a number. And my last little bit is the best visual comparison. I like the meme was that Sex in the City and Golden Girls, the women are essentially the same ages for the show, but how they are presented are very different things.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what? So anyway, that was our tangent quarter on that. But let's get into, because we don't want to have our bad dreams go into
this. Oh my God.
You know, I was kind of jumping to the end of it, but there are gross things in this show, but the clams in the pillowcase really icked me out so much. Of like, one, did you not feel that? Like you didn't, man, this is a lumpy ass pillow. No? And it's just like they're pouring them out and then eating those for whatever it was really like, no,
yeah.
No.
I mean, clams and mollusks and whatnot have never really been appealing to me as it is. Your girl will do a good scallop, but anything that has to be slurped out of a half shell, I'm not here for it. So, and that's a me thing. That's not a judgment thing. That's just me going, in much the same way that I
crab and like lobster?
Oh, those are amazing.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have to slurp it out of a half shell though.
True.
It doesn't come on ice and slimy. Again, it's a me thing. I will also eat escargot and love it. And I know people who would rather jump through a window. So, preferences. Yeah, the bit for that, for one, it didn't look appetizing to me either. Like the preparation method did, but the actual thing, not so much.
Yeah.
The other thing
is... risotto looked delish.
Oh my God, yes. Put that mushroom risotto in my face immediately, please and thank you. The thing that got me at the end was when they were talking about them and, oh boy, you had a lot in there. There must have been in there for a minute. Yeah, how'd they get in there? And the fact that we had, it wasn't a rack focus, but the focus in the back of just Marcel in the foreground having the conversation and that it just focused in on Izutsumi and stayed there and stayed there and stayed there. And that expression change at the end of the conversation. And on the one hand, that expression change happened when they said, oh, we can probably eat these. Let's start cooking, which, okay, fine. She's not used to the status quo that we have going on here. On the other hand, the fact that it stayed focused on her, even though her expression wasn't changing for most of that conversation, and then it's cat language of ears down, looking unhappy, like, did you do that? Or did someone from Shuro's party do that? Because my thought is sabotage. Yeah. My thought is that someone in that party, probably, my guess immediately would be Maizuru, because of course it would, is that someone in that party put those in Marcel's pillow to be like, we're taking care of the problem. We're just taking care of it on our own. This will end her and we don't have to worry about a black mage running around. Like, that is where, because of that specific focus, that is where my brain took it. Not that Izutsumi's guilty, but that Izutsumi knew.
I like that, because I also don't think she's as comfortable with monsters to want to place them, maybe, or even as knowledgeable that they do that per se, that we know. Yeah. So I like that theory that somebody else in that party to sabotage, and so that they've been there for a while or collected or reproduced or something that they've more, I don't know, but
like I would sit here and
they
go,
said she
oh,
hasn't had
accident.
sleep for a while too, because they did Lio said, she's been exhausted for a bit, so that does make sense that they've been there. Maybe it's in that line of bed bugs too, like it's just something in your sleep that like, and it's parasitic in a way too, and that just is also ick.
There is something in there that's not supposed to be, and it is just
no,
and it's when you're at your most vulnerable, and it's just, so that's again, I would have just written it off as, oh, one of them got in there, I guess, whatever, things like this happen in the dungeon, but that focus and during that conversation, only her, like that's Trigger has shown us at this point, for one, a lot of what Trigger does is just straight up adapting how the manga does things. And I've seen a lot
Mhm.
of comparisons for like the panel versus what's on the screen. And
Mhm.
that is also how we got, like, when we had to check, okay, that shot of seeing Laios through Fallon's skull, was that a panel or was that an anime original? And finding out that that's Trigger going, what if we just really fuck someone up today? Like, that I love. And so that is what makes me wonder, like, obviously a focus like that is purposeful. It
Mhm.
makes me wonder if it came straight from the manga or if that's an anime adaptation, and if so, why? So,
Uh, we don't do
to
spoilers here, but if you've read it,
correct.
you can answer this question.
Yeah, so to crib a phrase, is it Thursday yet? Because damn, other people like, we're not talking about that. I know it's different fantasy. It's fine. For those not familiar, that is the one of the taglines for Critical Role. That's how they end every episode with "Is it Thursday yet?" Because it airs on Thursdays.
I was gonna say, doesn't
Anyway,
Delicious air on Thursdays too? So
yes, that's why I'm asking.
yes,
Because like, I want the next episode. I want to
yes.
know if they address this.
You also address a name change because we learned the character's name is not what we've been
Yes.
told, which was interesting. And darn black magic spell them like, oh, so you're not just naturally a cute cat person?
It's like, you're not a Nekomimi. Someone made you a Nekomimi. Oh,
Whoops.
honey. And again, it wasn't like, what animal am I combined with? The terms used were beast and monster. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like someone just took a cat and went to the fusion dance. Like, no, this was purposeful.
Yeah,
She didn't know about it, know what it was, and potentially might not have known it was happening until it happened,
possibly.
and
Yeah.
has no way to fix it.
Yep.
So, yikes.
I also liked her spirit hitchhiker. That was wonderfully disturbing looking. I loved it. I get our classic Japanese mythology there, and I liked how they were trying to figure out how to destroy it too. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Finding out it was made of paper and then just setting the feet on fire and shoving the feet into
Yeah.
the face was so funny. Like, I love it. This is just classic for this party. This is classic.
Also now apparently classic more Senji fan service.
Oh yeah. There Trigger has
It
been
is so
adding
entertaining.
Trigger has been adding senshi panty shots that don't exist in the manga,
That's
which
just
I
there like
love.
I'm putting-
Truly, I am here for this. That man is taking all of them for the team, which,
Yes.
let's go. I love it. I also love that he was wearing shoes made of frog skin. Just that little detail. Yeah, this man, you have to feel for Izutsumi. For one, that she was working under a different name. For another, that she got collared, presumably
Mhm.
again by Mizuru, because she had to stay with someone who could touch that to keep it from freaking out and killing her.
Mhm.
So it's a heavy term, but she was kind of enslaved. Like, you need to be here, you need to do this, otherwise you die. Oh yeah, this is Studio Trigger.
Rahab asked, "Wait, this is Trigger? That makes too much sense." Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Trigger has been killing it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, God, what an awful existence for Izutsumi.
Yeah,
Just
and then
yikes.
they're going, yeah, we don't have that kind of control that you think we do. And her, wait, what?
I mean, they got the collar off of her, at least.
Yeah, they got
Because
that.
that was what was
thing.
keeping her with the party. Because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
whoever cast it has to touch it once a week or it triggers.
Yep.
So yeah, yikes. She obviously did not want to be there by choice.
Mhm.
Just you kind of go, okay, she was looking to get that removed, and then you peel back even one layer of implications and go, oh, I hate that. Oh no. Oh no. And then we just keep digging.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do think that circles back to our question of people joining the party. So she is joining for a bit.
Oh yeah.
And
just are you asking me to join the party? I'm like, girl, you've been decursed, you've been fed, you've been lectured. Senshi has basically adopted you.
that was
So
so
has
cute in
Chilcha.
the end.
Like, guys, Yeah, it's just the her dumping food and everyone going,
Hmm.
"Oh no."
I did like Senshi scolding her the way it was almost like a child or a pet in terms of no, that is not what we're gonna do now, is it? And but in such a loving and not a condescending way of
Yeah.
wanting to help her out. And for how rude her behavior was, I like Chilchuck and Laios. Hey, maybe this is a cultural thing of do they not know manners where or do they have different manners there?
Well, and Chilchuck commenting, no, she was just probably poorly raised,
Yeah.
which it sounds like isn't something Laios would be familiar with because he grew up in a nuclear family.
Yeah.
They had a village. Like theirs was
Hmm.
probably, if it was a smaller village, it may have been closer knit.
Hmm.
Because notice that it wasn't just in the flashback with the graveyard and the ghost, it wasn't just dad who showed up to save him, it was a whole cadre of people.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's just something where it wouldn't have even crossed his mind that like, "Oh, no, it's not a," and again, he really got hammered with the whole, "Well, you're bad at reading the room and you're bad at judging people's characters,
Yeah.
and I was giving you all of the social cues and you noticed none of them." It's like, "Okay." So I can see him, like, trying to check things a little more, but also just the concept of she was poorly raised, like, just not even being on his radar.
Yeah.
'Cause that's not what happens in his experience.
Which then, yeah, Rab says the dungeon is just making it someone else's problem all the way down.
Oh my god. Delicious in Dungeon is just a series of, "It's your problem now."
Yes.
Just all of it. This entire dungeon is this one party's problem.
Uh,
Unfortunately, because now we're mixed up with the Mad Mage.
well, and then as you were saying with Lyos's, and then back to his vision, which he gets in his dream and who he sees, and he is observant enough to go, wait, it's a dream, and how it's pretty much empty and white, and just this blank walls.
Just real heckin' straightforward. It's like, "All right, we
Yeah,
killed a dragon," and then we have disappointed dad, and then we have who I assume were his party members from his gold stripping days. Like, it didn't really
maybe.
clock, but I
Yeah.
assume it was them. And then Shuro, and Shuro rolling up is when he was like, "No, we're not retreading this ground. We figured this out." Wait a minute. Hang on.
Yeah.
The
And then
dream went,
popping over.
"What?" Yeah, the nightmare just went, "Let's just add one more." And that's when Shuro went, "That's one too many. Nope.
Yeah.
You busted. You're over 21."
And then
Yeah.
going on the flip side to Marcel's dream, where there's so much going on. And we've talked about it compared to, we haven't really watched it yet though, but Frerin too, in terms
Yeah.
of that makes sense. That's kind of her biggest fear is watching everyone she cares about die.
Did you
Yeah.
watch the portraits?
I was digging the portraits. I didn't necessarily follow along, but I definitely noticed them and enjoyed seeing them.
The second time, because I rewatched this right
Okay.
before we recorded, because I always try to watch everything at least twice before we go. Because, the first time is for going, "Oh my god," and the second time is for going, "I know it's coming. Where's the foreshadowing? What are the details? Tell me."
Hmm.
You know, as I do. The Demon Slayer corkboard, as it were,
Yes.
which we'll get into in a minute. But the portraits, she was talking about, dad's gone, my bird is gone, all of these ones that would have been shorter lived than her. And then in the portraits, one of them is a man's sick bed, and Marcel
Hmm.
is a child approaching. Is Marcel a half elf? Was
I kind
dad
of
a
wondered that
human?
too, because how did her dad die young when her mom didn't? So she might be half.
I think she might be. Because then that would also be like, okay, what is the lifespan of a half elf versus a full elf? Is she out of
Hmm.
step with everyone, and that's why it's weighing on her mind? Because we see that we see multiple portraits of who I assume is her mom, or the
They're
same
very,
portrait, and we
yes.
just run by it 5 times. We see a portrait of she and her mom at a gravestone, presumably her
Hmm.
dad's, and then the last portrait we see is Fallon. So it's just
Mm,
her losing people. I assume that mom is probably still around
maybe?
because there was no mention of the creature eating mom,
No, that's true.
but
It's just her dad.
But
And
the
then
creature is something that causes rapid aging. And the mom said to her that she would be out of step with people, that she'd be running faster than other people in her life. And we've
mhm,
had commentary about, well, yeah, elves can mess with lifespans. Well, you can't mess with your own lifespan using your own magic. That gets into Ouroboros territory. It doesn't work.
mhm,
So, hey, Marcel, why would you know that?
mm.
Why would you know that thing? That thing that you know. Why would you know that? So again, with peeling back the layers and looking at the implications, peeling this way this time, uh, I think we're starting to see a lot more of what makes Marcel tick.
Mhm.
And again, if she is a half elf and she's out of step with everyone, boy, how much would that fuck you up?
And unfortunately, we're probably not going to get much of a conversation about any of that because Laios wakes up. I don't really remember anything. She wakes up and had a good dream. So
Hmm.
it changed enough. I love that he's only a dog in her dream,
Well, he also decided to become a dog in his own, which
which
is
was
like,
cute. I
all
like
right.
his dream logic. It totally made sense. I have to go down. I'm going to be a dog and dig through the floor. All right.
I'm here for the furries of this show. I'm here for it. Let's go. Yeah.
Ooh, what about this one? Rab goes, oh crap, did her mom distance herself because she thinks the daughter is not too long from this world?
I
So
don't know.
that's a good question too. Did
Because
Marcel's
we've
mom kind
had,
of like back up of, well, you're not going to live long enough anyways?
because the other thing we saw,
Interesting theory.
we haven't seen many flashbacks with Marcel, but we
No.
did get Magic School, and they talked about she's a prodigy. Her
Yes.
mom is a court mage. That's what she's destined to do too. So yeah, I feel like it might be less mom distancing from her because of lifespan and more mom sending her to boarding school.
Yeah, could
I
be.
don't know. I don't really know. We don't really know anything about Marcel's mom except that according to the portraits at least, they look extremely alike, at least from what we can see,
Mm-hmm.
which is not much.
Yes.
So yeah, she sent you away to boarding school so you could be a court mage, and instead you became a felon. Felons for Fallon, as it were. What a
Uh,
terrible slogan.
we don't really get anything for Fallon for this episode. It was interesting the implication that they made the hybrid animal person on purpose, and they're like, no, that was not a purposeful thing. But then that makes you wonder how often on purpose ones are happening.
I mean, Izutsumi exists.
Yeah, but I
Like,
meant like in
there's
terms
still
of
people doing stuff.
Itsume also assumed that this was a thing that you do. So
I
has this
mean,
happened many times before? Probably not like super common, but enough for characters to go, it
it
could
was
happen.
common enough for Chilchuck to peg it. It
Yeah.
was common enough for him to go, I've heard of this, these are manufactured. And also might be one of the reasons that ancient magic, black magic, whatever you call it, is outlawed because it makes things like this. And
Mm-hmm.
that, when you start messing with souls, things get messy. I loved the egg
Mm-hmm.
metaphor. I loved
Oh, I
the
did like that.
sorry, you're a double yoker. Like, usually those are considered lucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did appreciate that metaphor and explaining that to the audience and going,
Yes.
okay, that's why it's not that easy. And
Mm-hmm.
also both halves of this episode being, let's find the Mad Mage, let's talk to him. If I had the book, my magic would be complete. If I had the book, I'd have
Whack.
the answers. She's in the dungeon to research this ancient magic that it runs on. Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to peeling back more layers of Marcel and seeing what's in there. Because we really have not seen much for her yet. There's a lot going on in there.
Uh, felon, grave robber. We prefer adventurer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that stood out to you for
I mean,
these?
that
I'm like, I feel
was
that was the main things.
we talked about pretty much all of it. And I will be interested to see more of Izutsumi and how that dynamic develops. Because I love
Yes.
her already. She's fun.
She's very entertaining for our group too, and I think
Oh yeah.
that it is that so opposite of behaviors that actually is beneficial for a group of both parties, hopefully learning from each other and benefiting each other and a different skill set too. So
They needed a nice
we'll
little
see.
weirdo. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got a bunch of nice little weirdos, but they like really needed a nice little weirdo, you know?
Yeah,
I
I
love it.
like it.
It's we now have a balance of weirdos.
Yes.
Speaking of balance of weirdos, let's talk about
Yes. Leave a comment down below if
Sorry,
you had
I
other
had
thoughts
to.
on the episode. No, that's a good one. Speaking of a group of weirdos.
Yeah, speaking of
Yes.
balance of weirdos, that Hashira meeting.
Woo.
Again, reiterating, we are only talking about the episode that has dropped. We haven't read the manga. We don't have any manga spoilers. The only manga thing I have is people being concerned about the fact that evidently this arc in the manga is like 9 chapters long, and this first episode covered 2.5 of them. So there's definitely some speculation about just how long this season's going to be. And there's only 2
Okay.
more arcs after it. So it's a necessary piece of setup, but there's a question of whether there's going to be the addition of filler, if they're going to extend things, or if it's going to be like a 5 to 8 episode season, if we're going to have a Mugen Train sort of scenario.
Did we cover that? Is the Demon Slayer manga like done?
Done.
Okay, so we
Yes.
know there's the 2 more. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's
It's like,
another one.
it's
We covered
ended,
that.
it's over,
Got
it
it.
wrapped the story.
Yeah,
I don't
that's a good
remember how long
question.
ago, but it did wrap.
Yeah. So we don't know how many episodes this one will be. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So we'll find that out later, I suppose. Either they'll release it or we'll just hit the end of an episode
Well,
and be
this
like,
one was also
"Oh."
a particularly long episode. It's like 48
Yeah.
minutes long. So it was
Yes.
essentially a double episode.
It's a double header, yeah.
You know,
But, you know,
TRT time, like total running time.
but so was the first episode of last season because they've
Yeah.
been doing this
Extended.
theatrical release.
Love it.
Last 2
Yep.
episodes of last season, extended episode of next season, which I enjoy. Again, when they do those, it's like remastered for Dolby surround sound and it's beautiful on the big screen. And like, you know, I'm here for it. The first one took people by surprise. They were expecting another Mugen Train and they were not sure about that. The second
Okay.
one, it was like, guys, we know the deal. Let's go. So yeah.
I like our starting off right away with action with 2 of our Hashira and getting to see more of them.
I'm going to be bad at names. I'm going to be bad at names just the whole time. It's fine. We have Snake, we have Mist, we have Wind, we have like good enough. Good enough. I'm really bad at
I
this.
was getting them ready.
Thank you for getting them ready because I didn't.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. This, I think, is the biggest oh shit moment I've had watching Demon Slayer
Okay.
in a while. Because
Okay.
like we've definitely had those in. They definitely build up to those, especially when you start getting into the fights with the upper ranks. And it's like, okay, what are they going to pull out now? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's worse. But that's when it's already ramped up the tension and into the climax. The
Okay.
fact that this started with demons have been kidnapping women. All right, we're going to go chase this demon that has this human woman, and we're going to go. And the fact that it went over the top of the castle and into the Escher castle, I just full on in the theater had a moment of, oh, they're gonna die. Oh, no, just the full, oh no.
Yeah, that was a oh shit moment of how do they
Beautifully
get
done.
out? Because there's nope. Nope.
And the answer is they never got in the first place.
Yeah.
But what an amazing surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Just wow. Wow. Oh, I love that.
I was looking over the chat, and then Rab says Demon Slayer has the Inuyasha, the final act.
Yeah, well, Demon Slayer doesn't have a fraction of the filler that Inuyasha suffered
Yeah.
through. Fortunately, we have Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia, etc., in an era where people don't feel the need to release an episode every week in order to keep a shonen property relevant. So we've managed to avoid the Yu-Gi-Oh, Naruto, DBZ, etc. filler arcs. We've managed to avoid Namek blowing up for 8 episodes, but also 5 minutes, you know? Which I'm extremely grateful for. We've avoided the flashing back to a flashback that we showed earlier in the episode of a previous episode. Like, we've avoided so much crap
Yes, they're
that
definitely not fillers.
that if you were an anime fan in the 2000s, like that's what you got used to.
Yeah.
So very, very grateful that we don't do that anymore.
Mm.
Just so happy that studios trust their audiences to be able to be like, no, it's okay. They'll come back in a year. We got this. Unless you're One Piece, but One Piece just has so much content to adapt that they're not really doing filler hell at this point. They're
Yep.
just adapting what they got. So I know I'm pretty sure they have a filler arc or two in there, but it's not Naruto levels. Naruto
Okay.
filler is something else.
Uh,
This probably should all have been in Tangent Corner, but whatever.
no, Noah Lara says, "Did someone say anime filler arc? My anime PTSD kicking in."
Again, the planet will blow up in 5 minutes. 8
Yeah.
episodes later, we're still here like, well, can Frieza count? And the answer is
Yes.
anyway.
So back to our Hashira. So,
Mhm.
Iguro and Shinazugawa.
Reasons I can't remember. It's like, oh,
All
we hit
right.
5 syllables. I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
done. I just my brain will not do
Well,
that
the
for
other
another
name is
4 episodes.
Sanime. Sanime. We're gonna be familiar with them and use first or last names and or last. And
We're gonna make it happen.
yes. And oh, and then also yeah, this is true. Rab Adler says, "Hey, some of us got real comfortable with broadcast fan fiction." True.
Yeah, I
And
know.
Ichiruki shippers ate well.
That's fair. That's
Uh,
very fair. You
so
know?
our Wind and
And then
Serpent.
Thousand Year Blood 4 dropped on Disney Plus with no fanfare. So, but that's a Disney Plus conversation, and that's Mother's Basement covers that better than I ever could. So that's that conversation. There's a whole video on it. Anyway,
I was gonna say, pull me back to Demon Slayer.
yeah.
I loved our new fights style too of these new, well,
Oh
not
my
new,
god,
but like we
yes.
haven't had a chance to really see how they fight, and I just thought that was so like, yes. And I wasn't able to see this one in theaters, but I could see how epic this would have been in theaters with an audience too. But it was still epic and exciting at home, and it's just gorgeous. You're like, I'm so glad having this show back, and it's just, I got this, and it's so relaxing in a way to have demon slayers that are good at what they do and that skilled that they can handle it, and we're not too worried they're going to die. We're a little worried, but when we see the new trainees, I'm always, oh no.
Yeah. I mean,
That Spider
to be
Mountain,
fair.
man, that gave
Oh my
us some
god.
PTSD of like, can they just survive a little bit?
And I appreciate the power scaling that we've had just through this entire anime. Because again, smack at the beginning, Tanjiro's first time trying to deal with a demon was just disaster after disaster
Yeah.
after disaster, and was only saved by the fact that the sun came up. Like, he was
Yep.
running out the clock because that was literally all he and Nezuko could do.
Yes.
And then scaling to, okay, the Spider Mountain was absolutely horrifying. But also, we had our Water Hashira show up and just wreck shop, 0 effort. And then scaling to Mugen Train, where it's okay, number 6, we can handle this, whatever. And then having our upper third show up and losing Rengoku after just falling in love with this man. So I appreciate we've had the power scaling, we've had the stakes, and I do love that, yeah, we can be a little more certain that our Hashira aren't going to just keel over and die now, because if they killed every Hashira that we had go up against an upper 6, that sets some weird audience expectations. And again, we talked about this so much during the Entertainment District arc.
Yeah.
Like, I fully went
Which
into story structure and audience expectations.
loved having our dude back. Oh my goodness.
God,
that was flashy.
yes!
Our Tengen, having him back and looking, Bamf as ever, and his ladies looking fire, and them all just helping out and, working with the training. And that was just so entertaining, which I will say, though, I didn't notice any ladies in training, and I thought there had been previous ones in the core trying, so I was a little bit like,
Yeah.
okay.
I think at this
It's all right.
point, if we're doing faceless NPC, That's
Yeah.
just kind of what we're copy
It's
pasting
copy
to make
paste.
it easier
Yeah.
on the animators.
Yes. And it's
Which,
just easier, otherwise it stands out too much. I know,
and
but
also the
doesn't mean
fact
I'm
that
not
we,
like
oh no, but also the fact that we keep showing them all running around shirtless.
that too.
So
We can
at
have a
what
sports
point
bra.
does
Come
that
on
get,
now.
yeah, no, it's just at what point does that get fun and interesting for everyone involved, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yes, absolutely, 100% valid point. Yes. I'm just
But
also seeing it from the copy pasting these
oh,
people and not having to change the models too much from
yeah.
all right, we have to animate like 30 people in this shot. God damn. At least
Yeah.
28 of them can be the same guy from different angles.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then we also know Lara says, I will say the Demon Slayer season 4 opening is a banger. And I love the training, and why have we not ramped up training sooner?
And they did make the point that, like, yeah, they do get trained, but they do make the point that the Hashira have been so busy just trying to keep a handle on the stronger demons
Yeah.
that they've only ever been able to train their direct apprentices.
Yep.
So the fact that, okay, things are a little crazy, they're scaling back demons, like they're gathering them in. So there's less actual patrol work that we need to do. So we have the time to bear down and do some training ourselves and to also elevate the core as a whole.
Yes.
It was just very much, we literally could not do this beforehand. That's why it's waited until now for us to bring everyone in. Like, we could not spare the Hashira, and then we lost 2 in quick succession.
Yeah.
One to retirement and one to shuffling off this mortal coil.
Yes.
When they said, yeah, we're going to ask the retired Hashira to help out, honest to God, thought we were going to cut to Rengoku's dad. I really thought that was coming back around.
I thought there would have been more than one, so I didn't think about who that other one would be.
This is a show you retire. I don't think this is a job you retire
I know,
from
but that's
very
why I was
often.
like, who else is retired? Yeah. So then it's
Yeah.
but that could have been interesting.
I
Then
wouldn't be
speaking-
surprised if that's something that comes back, because again,
Mm.
like the whole thing about the first fire breather, the first fire breathing technique Hashira journals, that they're all torn up, but that he knows what was in them and that sun breathing was a thing in there. And like, that's another thing that's on the board. We haven't forgotten about that yet. I am
Yeah.
fully expecting that to come back around at some point. I feel like this would be the opportune arc for it to happen, especially since we've started talking about this whole marking thing.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, that is a plot point that I have not forgotten about, because that dude has relevant information and we haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah.
Because there's also Rengoku's younger brother, who is not Hashira material himself, or Demon Slayer at all material himself, despite his best efforts, but still walked away with, 1, my brother loved me very much, and 2, there are other things I can do even if I'm not able to handle a sword in a way that the court requires. So yeah, I'm looking at the entire Rengoku family and going, you're coming back. Again, they're on the board. They're coming back. For those who are new to this, when I keep talking about the board, there is, if you go back to some of the earlier episodes in like the 60s,
right
when I'm talking
there.
about the previous season, I kind of built a conspiracy board on both sides, just mostly in gesture form, but trying to figure out the timelines over here. Here's how these things connect. And here's the character relations. Here's where we are. Here's these plot points that I'm stringing together. That's so when I talk about the Invisible Demon Slayer conspiracy board, it's like 2 or 3 seasons worth of conversation about what the fuck is happening here. So yeah, the Fire family is still on the board. We have not forgotten about them.
So
everyone who's read the manga, like,
characters coming back and pseudo filler, but not, in the sense of, hold on, I will get to it, is we get one, and then tying into comments in the chat is, I laughed at Inosuke trying to get Nezuko to say his name correctly, though I'm fully convinced she knows how to and just chose not to. Love it. And
I didn't get those vibes, but I will adopt that into my headcanon.
Also, our Thunder Boy got his wish. Nezuko in the sunlight, being happy and saying the wrong name. Inosuke, a moment of silence for Zenitsu's ego. he is a character that I am sorry to him, but I'm just like, oh, and this was bordering on too much harassment and back up, sir. And I know it's done for comedic purposes, but I'm glad nobody else gives him the time of day of like,
Oh yeah.
no.
There is a show I listen to called Thrilling Adventure Hour, and there's one bit that's like a parody on older superhero serials, and there's always a bit where Captain Laserbeam thinks of his Adventureketeers, like the kids that follow him, the little kids club sidekicks, essentially. And they've always said something inspiring earlier on in the episode that he remembers and gets a boost of power. There's one episode where at one point, it's like, well, what would you do without Captain Laserbeam? And the Adventureketeer dead ass, we'd get by. And that's all I could think of for this is all of like Zenitsu going, wouldn't you be sad if I died? And everyone else going, we'd get by. Just, whoo. I loved it. I am here for we'd get by. Because Zenitsu is, I get why he's some people's favorite character. He's a very difficult sell for me. He just is. It's like, you're at your best when you're asleep, sir. That's kind of a problem.
And we've had some character growth with him. We have. But I really want him to get past this, like, downright delusional approach to life that it's like, I wouldn't mind it if he liked Nezuko and did want to pursue her, but the completely in another world approach to, so we're getting married. I'm like, yo, you are not on the same planet, buddy. So same. I'm like, no offense to the fans who love him, none at all. It's just me. I'm like, because in Inosuke we did get character growth, so I was like, all right, because he also at the beginning was a little bit like, character growth makes him exciting. I feel like boy Tanjiro is gonna stay forever. He's our golden boy, our golden retriever. There's moments of change, but he's generally our constant. It's Inosuke that I'm like, we got some. And then Zenitsu's like, here's my little tiny bit of character development, and then we're kind of plateauing for a while.
I feel like Zenitsu is one of those characters where if he didn't have the delusions, he'd be a puddle on the floor. Like, something in there is severely broken, or at least severely hecked up, to the point where having to face it and deal with it would break down literally everything else he's doing and everything he's got going for him. So I mean, of course he's afraid. Who the hell wouldn't be? And just
that too.
The
totally
shrieking about things and the delusions about and the womanizing. It's one of those things where, no, I'm not here for it. It's not okay. But I'm also sitting here going, I think if we peeled back those layers, it'd be real bad under there. And that's kind of what's keeping him afloat. Because he didn't really want to do this in the first place. He got trained by Grandpa anyway, and he knows one whole ass technique that he does the best in his sleep when he is truly not thinking about any of this. Like, Zenitsu at his core is not okay.
So in theory, this arc and the special training could hopefully kind of tap into how we can access things better. Because this is good, our characters get to learn some more techniques and advance their skills. So
in theory,
good.
I think the only thing that's going to crack that nut is therapy.
I know, right? I was about to be like,
I really think that there is things going on underneath the surface for Zenitsu that we're not going to have the time or space to get into because this story is, one, about Tanjiro, and two, very tightly plotted.
Yes.
Like, it's there. We can see that it's there. We saw it in the Entertainment District arc that he was able to kind of turn around and focus and do these other things.
Yeah.
Just, I really do think that in order to really get to the core of him, you need to break everything else he put up. And that's not something you bounce back from very quickly.
No.
So, psychological study on Zenitsu aside. I have no idea. I'm just going.
Another headcanon. I like this. No, Laura said, here's another headcanon. Muzan practicing his victory dance at his castle, asking the upper moons. The last three is the moonwalk and do MC Hammer beat it dance. Hee hee. Yes.
It's the beat it lean. It's the lean. Obviously.
Absolutely. He needs to be like,
but he doesn't
Yeah.
need the nails in his shoes to do it.
Right? Yep.
Anyway,
Yes, no,
Michael Jackson aside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of some crazy energy, I adored our love Hashira Mitsuri, and her energy in the meeting is adorable. Now, see, that's another way. Like her energy, I bet for some people could be obnoxious. I
Okay.
find it absolutely adorable and charming because she is just that excited about things, and thus is love Hashira. She feels passionately about everything and loves everybody. Is just like, oh, so and so is so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love that.
I think she's got a crush on our snake, Hashira.
I think she has a
I
crush on like
don't
almost
know if it's.
everyone.
Oh no, but I think she's like
Yes, she was like, he
interested.
noticed me. Yeah, she had a senpai noticed me moment. Yes, I did notice that too.
I'm also wondering whether any of that is reciprocated.
No, I don't think so. Not really.
Might just be fandom. But yeah, no, because she also said like she joined the Demon Slayer Corps so she could find a man who could keep up with her.
True
And
that.
she is a Hashira. So
Yeah.
like that bar is real high.
Yes. We
But
also get all our Hashira infighting, and then the other big one. What are your thoughts on our water Hashira, our Giyu, being like weird?
I'm not like you guys. Oh, you're not like other girls. Are you special, sir? And then the fact that the title of the next episode is Gyu's like pain, basically, just has me going. Okay. I know we're probably getting into his tragic backstory. I'm sure there's a sympathetic reason. I'm sure there's something up. And I'm sure there's a reason that Tanjiro, of all people, got a letter about it. A personal letter about this happening. Like, okay, pull the connection. Let's go. I can't get over I'm not like you and so's pain. I'm like, oh, the pain of it all. Like, I'm sure it's going to be something devastating that'll have me on the floor because this is what Demon Slayer does. But right now, as things stand, it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah. The other thing though that has been irking me that if this is covered in the manga or was covered in the anime and we just haven't I forget.
Haven't twigged
You may
on
say
it.
so.
Yeah.
What is up with them not taking Nezuko to our Master of the Hashira people and her helping heal them? Because we've covered this before. She's healed multiple people and more than one Hashira has witnessed, like, we got our, Tengen got to experience it and was like, wow, this is interesting. You'd think he'd tell them. Nope, not really. And then, okay, well, we noticed you all healed differently. I'm hoping this moves soon because if he is dying and deathbed and cannot move, can we at least take her to him? And just, even if they don't believe it works, test it. I just am sitting here like, person dying of weird causes, person who can do magical healing.
I think
I'm just like, oh, or at least I want someone to suggest it and then they either dismiss it or they act upon it. Because it feels to me like such a, why haven't we tried that? Because his disease thing looks like what Tengen had. So it's
yeah.
Like,
I don't think it's that she can heal people. I think the implication, and we need to talk more about the whole like metaphysics of the mark, because I think that was what played into, yeah, you were down for 2 days and then you were pretty much fine. And that's odd. So
yeah.
I think we need to talk more about that because I think that was the implications of that, was that it was a result of the mark appearing.
But Tengen
what
didn't get a
Nezuko
mark
can
she
do,
healed him.
she burned the poison out.
Well,
she didn't heal his wounds. She burned the poison. Yeah, no, I am 100% with you on, if he's suffering from demonic poison, someone needs to put 2 and 2 together and get 4. Yes. So the question is how much he even reported in before retirement, or if he just sent in his 0 weeks and said, I'm done. I am absolutely done. I am all right, and there's nothing left. So, he's finished. He's done. He's not shuffled off this mortal coil. That was Rengoku. But it really is a question of how much of a debrief he had before being like, hey, I'm outie. And it may have been
the fourth wall for us to be like,
yeah. And I do think it is that. I think it might be there for the audience to put 2 and 2 together and get 4 because it's that sort of thing where it has the visual shorthand. The visual
Mhm.
language is that these are the same or similar afflictions, and we've seen Nezuko remove one from the body.
Mhm.
The other thing I'm thinking is he was poisoned for half an hour tops. It was a fast-acting poison, but he wasn't poisoned for very long, and
Mhm.
she burned it out before it could kill him. Our head of the Hashira has been poisoned and declining for an extremely long time.
Yep.
So I'm kind of at the point of, even if she burns it out, will he still survive? Will he still be able to, like, how much
Worth
lingering
trying.
damage has been done to his body at this
Yeah.
point by this slow moving poison, curse, affliction, uncertain, undefined for the audience at this point? Who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on the someone needs to put two and two together and get four. The problem is, I think it would need to be Tengen who did it, and I don't know if he's the type to do it. I think we've got three other Hashira in that room who would be capable of it. We need to hand that information to our Mist Hashira, because that's the guy who's going to go, hang the fuck on.
Well,
Like
also
him, I think
Shinobu,
more than anyone else.
who is our chemist, and our
Yeah.
demon pharmacist. I'm hoping them being together is gonna go, hey, wait,
Yeah.
other ideas. So I'm kind of
Like,
hoping. I'm excited
yeah.
for that team up. I'm like, yes.
Oh my god, yes.
Yep.
Yes. I'm here for the intelligent poison ladies just showing up and kicking all of the ass. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I love seeing my Mist Boy back in action.
Yes.
He's just, I love him. What a little shit. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I
And
love
the
him too.
difference between our love Hashira going, it was like this, and then it was like that, and being able to categorize the feelings but not having the words to describe it.
Yeah.
Whereas him being extremely technical and clinical about, it was this because of this. I'm like, so
Mhm.
here's the thing. Like, he's probably correct technically,
Mhm.
but I think that we are, because when they talked about the mark, they talked about it was some of the first breathers, the first element breathers. Sorry, I have to go let my cat out. You going, sweetie? You're not going. Okay. I love her very much.
Good for you.
She's been shutting my. There she goes.
I have my other
Oh my god.
co-host
Go.
who decided to sit on the couch, and I was worried I was going to have to help her hop up on the couch.
Yeah, that's pets. She's come
Yes.
back in. Will you make up your mind? This has been Pet Corner. I don't know if you can hear her meowing.
It's cute.
Love you, sweetie. Come on. Come on. You're not going to come up here. You don't do that. Anyway, I think we need to talk about like the physics of the mark, and what they
Yes.
brought up was that it was something that some of the first breathers had, and they were the ones that initially brought Muzan to his knees and almost
Mhm.
won way back
Mhm.
when. And again, back on the board here of like, hey, the first like sun breather, and also the person who knows Tanjiro's dad, and also the person who definitely looks like the number one demon, like, I think that Venn diagram overlap is a circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So there's, just waiting for that to come down the line. If it's not, I will be extremely surprised. Watch it be like a shapeshifter who just took that form or stole it when he killed the swordsman. Wouldn't that be buck wild? Probably not going to
Yeah.
happen, but wouldn't that be crazy?
Yes.
Hi, Christ on a raft. I love my cat so much. So the mark would appear like on someone who had it, and then it would spread to the people around them. So I think as much as we can work on, you have to have this BPM and this temperature and this and that and the other, like as much as you can sit here and go, here are the physical conditions, you can't really toss out the fact that this is a shonen manga, and that a lot of stereotypical shonen manga as we know them, a lot of the big power ones have a power set that can very much be affected by things like love, determination, and the power of friendship.
Yeah, it was all power friendship.
That's what we're going with here, because
Yes.
someone else has it and it spreads to the like-minded people around them. This
Yep.
is not a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It also, and this is one of those like, oh yeah, Tanjiro has it. I'm like, That's why the scar keeps changing. That drove me crazy for so long. It's like,
We were
is there a
wondering, and
model problem? Is there, like, is he off model? Oh no, it's plot heavy. Okay,
I feel somebody
cool.
mentioned that way back when, and thank you for going, "Hey, take a look at that," without spoiling what the connection
Yeah,
is, but
yeah.
love it.
Like,
Yes.
I do appreciate that, like, okay, it's not just
Yeah.
we're not figuring out the model. It's, oh, there's an actual reason for it, and it is a power
Mhm.
set thing. It is the next step up.
Mhm.
It's yeah, so as much training as they're doing to try to hit that, I don't think we're going to get anyone unlocking their mark until Tanjiro gets to be on the scene, which means our
Yes.
water Hashira might be the next person because it looks like that might be where Tanjiro is headed because he's the one that got the very specific letter about here's what's up with this guy. You want to maybe
Yeah.
you want to go talk to him? You want to with your super broken bones? Since we can't put you through training hell yet, do you want to just like have a conversation? Do you wanna Yeah.
Do a
So,
debrief.
who
Yep.
knows? Yeah. So
Um,
that's again, I
I
really
like it.
don't think you
Yeah.
can discount Tanjiro being
Oh,
our
no, he's
sunshine boy
100%.
is yeah.
He's the, like
He's patient zero, but in
he
a
is
good way.
he's the sun, and they're revolving around, and it goes
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And it is absolutely very important that like I make jokes about our shonen protagonists who are teal coated pure good sunshine boys because you have that and you have My Hero Academia's Deku.
Mhm.
But the fact that I think at this point it's a plot point for Tanjiro, like
Mm.
none of this would work if that weren't his disposition. None of this would work if that
Mm.
wasn't what he was like. If he
Yeah.
didn't just talk to people and have the like, no, I believe you're a good person. No, you can do this. No, there's more to you. I'm not giving
Mhm.
up on you. And
Mhm.
that positive persistence spreads to people because again, I love my Miss Tashira. That's how we broke the amnesia. Is that Tanjiro's kindness and persistence reminded him of his dad and that he
Mhm.
got everything back in a tight spot. And again, triggered the mark and was able to fight
Mhm.
back and win.
Yep.
So we are working on the power of friendship. And it's so important that Tanjiro has that and does that, and that everyone in his aura is affected by it. Like
Yep.
Zenitsu is affected by it. And we had that with, hey, that thing that you taught me, I learned it. I was able to do this because of you. So thank you. I
Mhm.
wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And how that just turned everything fully around for Zenitsu.
Yep.
How Inosuke has benefited from his older brother vibes, from him
Mhm.
being the oldest of, what was it, like 7? He lost so many children.
Yeah, there's so many.
There were so many siblings and they're
There were
all
so
dead
many
now.
babies.
There were so many dead babies. This show, man, this show does not
Oh.
give a fuck. It gives all the fucks and no fucks. It's wild.
Yep.
But just the fact that he applied that big brother energy to
Mm.
Inosuke, that we
Mhm.
saw him reverse Uno Inosuke, where, yeah, we need to take care of this, but I get it if you're too tired. Go ahead and rest. And Inosuke going, like, just again, it affects everyone around him. And I
Yep.
love that that's who he is. It's okay that that's a static character trait and that it's important to the plot that that
Mhm.
is who he is. Just like, thank you. Thank you for compassion and not just sheer power being important. Thank you.
And it's yeah, it is the just pure essence of his goodness, and it's not in the realm of toxic positivity either. Like
Yeah.
he's a genuine optimist and a
Yeah.
listener and a communicator and like all the things. So um speaking of someone not communicating, and also wanted to pull back up this comment. No Lara says Giyu is like that cool kid when there's a group project, and other Hashira are like um in their group project, and the other Hashira are like, hey, you think you're better, and Sona's like, sit down, kids.
Yeah. It was
Ah,
very much just like, quit your bickering. We're having a conversation. It's
yes.
like he has the biggest dad energy in the room right now.
Oh, he
So
does. It is Gyome. I appreciated his. Okay, we're gonna sit down and focus, children. Stop it.
kids, 1, 2, 3 eyes on me. Focus up.
And that's our Sanime, our Win Hashira, being our Bakugo of this show, of angry, yelly, but still get shit done. So
I appreciate him more now that I've seen him more because,
Mhm.
like, man,
Ooh,
he made
and
a
his
terrible
tragic
first
backstory.
impression. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we got that too via the
Yep.
lens of his younger brother,
Yep.
who is still doing his best and trying his hardest and in a hospital bed in the rowdiest hospital room ever. Oh my god. The straight up, I
He's
wish
all,
they'd put me in another room. Like,
yes.
oh honey.
Yep.
Yeah, I get why they put you together for ease of care, but also like the fact that Tanjiro keeps so many fucking weirdos in his aura.
Yes.
I love it. I love it so
All right.
much.
I think we covered quite a bit and we've gone on for a good long chunk, but was there any other final thoughts on it before we get to our last chunks?
I want to know whose crow that was in the last few scenes, picking up the doctor.
I thought it was the
Like,
master guy's crow.
it probably was.
Because
It was just like, who are you, sir? You've got some
well
crazy
spoken.
eyes, dude. Extremely
too.
well spoken. And also really big, like the white irised eyes on a crow is so weird.
Yep.
It's so weird. And I
I
know
think
we've
it's
had that
from
on
the
some of
sheer
the other
master.
crows, but the way they do it on this one was just like, that's it. Like, that seems unnatural. It has worked with the design for some of the other ones, but this one has just been like, bruh.
Yeah. I also, we saw it before, but I love the Love Hashira's little bonnet on her crow.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so cute. Of course it would have a bonnet and look cute.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I love all of this.
Oh!
I'm here for
yes,
all of this.
we forgot this. Yes. We got Tanjiro getting his sword and the Rengoku
Haganezuka.
belt and or the hilt. And
Yeah, the hilt
that
guard.
was wonderful and funny. And then I'm like, oh yes, we got to see what he really looks like. And I would have made you better sword. Y'all interrupted me.
Just the, oh right, Haganezuka's hot. Like, you forget that. And then he shows up again and you're like, oh yeah, under that mask, he's really hot.
Yes.
And also extremely determined. Like, this is a dude
and way
who had
younger
his
than we thought too.
Oh yeah. Like, this is a guy who had his eye messed up and was still just working. So it's one of those, you put up with a lot of extremes to get the genius, as it were. And as much as he's like, oh yeah, I've heard he's very abrasive. Oh, he was actually really chill this time.
Like,
he must still be in a lot of pain. Like, yeah, but he's come around on Tanjiro.
Yeah.
We know it. We know it. Let's be real.
I did love that. That was very funny. Thank you for bringing that back up, chat.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
That disaster man has returned to the scene once again.
There's probably more we could even still talk about, but we need to move on to our next section. So if there's anything in this episode that we didn't quite touch upon or other things that you really liked, leave comments down below. All right. So then we'll get to our last segment of other stuff you should check out. So these are game shows, whatever that we're watching that we think you should check out. I was like, wait, hold on. I have a planner thing there. I'm like, what did I have anything new?
See, you're all organized and you take notes, and I'm out here like, it worked. What can I pull from the head?
Well, this is my planner, and I write down stuff down because then it's really cool. There you go, my semi-tangent corner. Physical planners, y'all. It's really nice to write down what you do, and I do literally write down what I did that day. Kind of, it's almost like a very bullet point journal, but not really. Yeah. But it's nice to see at the end of the year what you did and then reflect on that. So anyway. I was gonna say I don't think I watched as much this week. Mainly still getting into Vincenzo on Netflix. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, oh my gosh, go watch that. It's an amazing K-drama show. It's super entertaining. I'm on episode, I think I'm up to 14 out of 20. Still loving it. It's incredibly entertaining. And then yes, Kaiju number 8, if you're not already watching that one's super fun. And I think I missed a couple weeks, so it's nice to watch a couple in order because there are some cliffhanger moments. You're like, what is happening? What's next? So it's always nice when you go, oh yeah, I forgot there's some out. Let me catch back up. But that's kind of it for now. Let us know what you've been watching. And Katie, what about you?
I am behind on everything that I've been following on because this past week has everything happened so much, and I'm just trying to kind of yeah. Once again, I will make a posit for live theater, live music, live performances. Like, do the thing if you are able, even if it's just your local Shakespeare in the Park community theater, Black Box. There's so much good stuff at Black Box theaters, you guys. Just, you know, some of them are winners and some of them are interesting stories, but always just keep an eye out. Um, yeah, there is still watching Bartender Glass of God, which is still fun slice of life, but I'm behind. The new Doctor Who dropped. We got 2 brand new episodes for the season so far that both dropped on Friday. Haven't had a chance to watch those yet either. It's been a lot. And then I do have to do my own little corrections corner because I had complained about Hulu not yet having the next episode of Go Go Loser Ranger, and then I did some research and it turned out that Japan delayed the airing for it to air a golf tournament instead. So,
Oh, huh.
my bad. That episode did air this Sunday. Hulu does have it. And once again, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because I make sure I watch Dungeon Meshi and Demon Slayer so we can be prepped for this. And then after that, it's like, what else we got? So,
Wow.
yeah, it is I am behind on literally everything I want to do, and that includes playing the early access for Hades 2, which is out, which I have and haven't opened yet. So, what do you recommend? A lot of things I haven't gotten around to. Oh
Uh,
yeah, it's
you
still a good
mentioned
time.
live stuff. The other thing I was going to recommend, I think this is a space you can go to at different times. We got to check out an art exhibit. And if you're in the LA area, go check out Art Share LA. And they're located at 801 East 4th Place.
Yeah.
And they have a physical location. I'm not totally sure how it's open at regular times, but they had a recent event which was super cool. And you can go find them on Instagram at artshare_LA. Great way to see local artists in the Los Angeles area if you're near LA.
Yeah.
All
Again, do
right.
live stuff. Find out if
Yes.
there's any free admission days for museums that are near you. Like
Oh,
some museums will do that. LA's
uh,
is coming up, yeah?
yeah, well, not that one, but free LA events too. Also, again, if you're LA-ish, near-ish, the Music Center. So if you look up the like Los Angeles Music Center, they're doing the dance, DTLA, so downtown dance. Almost every Friday from starting June 21st is a free dance event where there are different kind of genres of music, and they will do like a dance lesson a little bit, give you some basic steps, give you a couple 8 counts, and then it goes into DJ music of that type, and then back to for like an hour or two, go back into some lessons, refresh in case you want to re-know some stuff, and then back into DJ dance music for a couple more hours. Starts about 7:30, and the first one they're kicking off with is Bollywood. These are super fun, 100% free. You just can come and go. So I love that about the event of you just check it out. But check them out on Instagram if you want to see the full calendar. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Do the
Uh,
things. Always encourage you to go out and do live in-person things. Like
yes.
it's good for your brain.
Yes. And thank you, though, on the digital side of things for joining us here because we do love that because then we can connect with
Yes.
all of you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out over on NTATNB on Twitter. And be sure to follow here on the Fanversation channel. Video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. This is the thing I watched that I forgot about, the series finale of Red versus Blue. So we will eventually have a video about that up on that channel. Recording schedule's been fun and interesting. I am also a co-host on Silver Screams on YouTube, which is the horror channel that I do with my roommate. So check all that out.
And you all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE across all social media platforms. And here on the Fanversation channel, in case you haven't missed it, we have the interviews with the Spy Family cast because they had their dub premiere. We got to go cover that and interview them. So check out those interviews. as well as if you're on the horror side of things, check out the Silver Screams. And we have interviews with the cast for them, which I did the interviews on that one, and that's here on the Fanversation channel. So check that out. And again, make sure you subscribe because there's lots of exciting things and conventions coming up too. So you want to be in the know and following us and get those notifications so you don't miss it. Again, thank you everybody so much. If you tuned in live, if you're watching later, awesome. Thank you for that too. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.